Welcome back to another Thursday on the Pagan Perspective. Actually, welcome to a new year. I'm your Thursday host, Yucca, and this week we're talking about the evolution of how we identify and a little bit about the Wheel of the Year and whether we focus on that or something other than that in paganism. So, our question comes from Tyler, who writes, "Hello everyone. I have been practicing paganism, specifically witchcraft, for about 3 years now. I'm a solitary, eclectic practitioner, so I sort of build my practice myself. When I began, I studied Wicca and identified as a Wiccan for a period of time, but that label doesn't really fit me anymore, primarily because I don't really celebrate the Sabbaths or any special rites for them. The idea of that never really resonated with me, and my time management skills are mediocre, and I would end up forgetting. So, my question is sort of a two-part thing. Have your beliefs ever shifted to the point where you felt the need to change how you identify in your practice? And two, do any of you focus less on the Wheel of the Year and more on some other facet of paganism?" So, for me to answer this question, because this is asking us as the hosts, I was raised as a pagan, and I've talked about that in some of the past videos. But the way that I identify now, really I started to do as an early teenager. So I don't think I've really changed my label since I was maybe 12 or 13 years old. I'm 27 now. And I think that's because I've left it very open and vague. If people ask, I say that I'm pagan or I have earth-based spirituality or beliefs. I do consider myself a witch or that I practice witchcraft, and really I've left it at that. I sometimes use the word Wicca because that can quickly give people a general sense, like on censuses and things like that. If it asks what your religion is, I'll write Wicca because I think that helps. It's kind of the closest thing, even though I don't consider myself Wiccan because of the theism involved with Wicca. So it isn't something that I've really personally gone through, but I don't think there's any problem with it. I think that the labels that we use are here to serve us, that we're not here to serve the labels. So they're a way for us to communicate, a framework for us to use, to understand. And if you're changing and you need a new way to describe what you're going through, awesome, find that new way. I think that labels can be, depending on how they're used, can be very empowering things. So that's what I have to say on the label issue. In terms of focusing on the Wheel of the Year or some other facet of paganism, the Wheel of the Year in the past wasn't as important to me. When I was growing up, the solstices were very important, but it was more about one's personal connection with nature, with the land where we lived, with the larger cycles. And now, in the last few years, I've been moving into a very different season of my life. And so my needs have changed a little bit. I have a family now, and we've talked a lot about, like, well, what do we want as a family, as a pagan family? What does that mean for the little people who will be raising up? And the community which we're creating as a family, not only our kin, right, but our kith. The kith and kin are those that are actually related to you. Kith are those who are might as well be related to you. They are family by love, even though not by blood, right? So the Wheel of the Year has actually become more important to us in this stage of our lives because we want to have traditions and celebrations without kind of forcing strong beliefs the way that so many people have had to deal with in their lifetime. We wouldn't want someone to do that to us, so why would we want to do it to somebody else? But having celebrations throughout the wheel of the year that aren't really about believing in this God or this way of living, but just celebrating what's going on in the world around us, the world that we're part of, is sort of where we're at, and happy with that. But that's not how it always was for me. There were time periods in my life that wasn't really a fit for where I was at, and that was fine. So my approach is just sort of seeing where you are, and the wheel of the year may never be important to you. And it may be important at some point in your life, it may not. And, that's your journey. So I think just enjoy. So I'd love to hear from everyone your takes in terms of your celebration of the Wheel of the Year, if you do, or if there's some other part of your practice which is that you're focusing more on in your life, and also if you're wanting to share with us how your personal identification has changed and evolved over the years. Until next week, have a great time, stay warm, and take care.